Okay. Okay, here we go. Once again, I am live on Instagram and in my Facebook group. I can see myself on camera in the Facebook group from on my laptop here, and all I want to say is this camera on my laptop accentuates all my horrible features. And I swear to God, my lipstick is not that crooked. It's not really that crooked. It just looks that way on camera. I've checked it twice now. It's actually really straight. I don't know why my camera makes me look so bad. So this is what we're going to talk about today. If you can see me on Instagram, it's a little bit better. But anyway, so we're going to talk about how to finesse the narcissist, or how to narciss the narcissist, okay? Because this person operates on mind games, like solely on mind games, okay? Now, sometimes in order to get by, especially if you're still living with this person and you're still having to like build your escape plan to get out or whatever, right? And you're still trying to figure out how you're going to do this. You sometimes have to fool this person into thinking everything's okay so that you can get shit you need. So that being said, what you need to start doing is dropping all your stuff about yourself where you're like, oh, I'm a good person, I can't do that to people, that's cruel, I'm not that type of person. Well, you know what, you are for right now. You're going to be for right now, because that's what you need to do to survive and get through the situation. So if you want to finesse this person who has been playing mind games with you and treating you like shit for however long, it might be time to kind of do the same thing back. The only difference is you're not going to treat them like shit, because you need this situation to work in your favor. Especially if y'all end up going to court or any of that kind of shit, if there's anything involved like money or possessions or what have you, or children. So you need to have this person thinking that everything's okay, that you're on their side, blah, blah, blah. And that way, you know, when you start talking about splitting or getting out of there, you know, you will have learned by then how to manipulate and how to make it seem like no matter what's going on, that the narcissist can benefit from it in some way or another. So one of the best ways that I have done this is to copy what that person does. Copy their opinions, copy their habits, their idiosyncrasies, things like that. This is another situation where you have to practice taking your emotions out of it. You got to take your emotions out of it, and you got to take your preconceived notions about yourself out of it, because so far you've been a good person, you've been kind, you've been helpful to everybody in your life, and things like that, and you've been helpful to this person, and look at how far it's gotten you. You see what I mean? So it's time to kind of change your ways a little bit, employ some of your dark feminine, I know it's in there, and and use your noggin and just, you know, go about this in a more empowering way. Another way to put it is you're going to stoop to conquer, okay? So that means, you know, you're going to do things to make yourself seem little, you know, or you're going to do things to make yourself seem easy in order to actually secretly be in control of the situation and get what you want, which is what some narcissists do anyway, especially the covert ones, the secretive ones. They're kind of shy, and they're kind of meek, and they're kind of, you know, they try to seem humble and shit like that, when really it's everything they can do to manipulate the situation to work in their favor, but they're going to try to make it seem like they're not trying to do that. My laptop screen is blinding me. It's bright right now, and I can't get it to stop being bright. Hang on. Okay, there it goes. Okay, that's better. Okay, so this would be situations like or just being agreeable in general, like being, you know, easy to agree with, or easy to get along with. Because this is a situation where you have to drop your feelings about, he's supposed to be doing this, he's supposed to be doing that, why isn't he, you know, this marriage or this relationship is supposed to be such and such, why isn't it going that way, it should be this, it should be that. All your ideas about how things should be, you're going to have to set aside for the time being, and we can come back to it later. But while you're here dealing with this person, and especially if you're trying to get away from him, you need to build up what looks like some kind of an alliance so that it's not going to hit as hard when the time comes for you to actually start packing your shit and going. He may explode anyway, and that's all fine and well, when it comes down to it, if y'all end up having to go to court over anything, there's going to be documentation and evidence and proof one way or another, especially if you can take screenshots of things where you're agreeing to things or trying to be pleasant or trying to be cooperative. You can document all that kind of shit, and that way when it gets to the court, they're going to see that you were, trying to make the best of things and trying to do it right, and he's just being an asshole and exploding. That's what you want. So for the time being, in a way, in so many words, I have to tell you, you kind of have to swallow your pride and forget about your, I don't want to say forget about your values, but just forget about your notions about how things are supposed to be, because since you're dealing with a narcissistic partner, things aren't going to be the way they're supposed to be anyway with a partner, so you may as well just drop all that and just play the game, play the cards that are dealt you. But if you play them right, you'll end up coming out the victor in the end. So this would be situations like agreeing to what they want, and you can start out with simple stuff just to get yourself used to the idea of doing what needs to be done in order to get bigger shit done. Agreeing about what to eat for supper, where to go for dinner, where to go for lunch, what to do on weekends. Let's say he wants to go to some goofy water park or something, and you're not into water parks. You're going to say, oh, that sounds great. Yeah, let's go ahead and do it. And for the time being, just while you're doing that water park adventure, you're just going to have to, it would benefit you if you pretended to be as into it as they are, or at least a little bit, so that you can seem more agreeable and you're not giving them any problems and shit like that. And some narcissists, even at the end of the game, if they're in court or you're just, or even if you don't have to do that, if you're getting ready to move out or whatever, it's a lot of times it won't be as bad because they'll see that there's something to fight. You know what I'm saying? Because you were agreeing with them the whole time, so there's no friction. Do you see what I mean? And they won't have as much to use against you if you've been complying. You know what I mean? It can help you. And some of them, sometimes there could be a chance that you might get a little bit more than you would have otherwise if you're more compliant and more agreeable. Let's say the judge orders him to pay you some money or give you the car or something like that. It'll go smoother. It can go smoother if you're more agreeable and you're not as argumentative, and especially in court, if you can prove that you were complying and trying to go along with things and trying to be pleasant and things like that. But you're going to notice, I want you to take note of things that this person does, like their interests, their hobbies, their idiosyncrasies, their habits, their fears, and everything like that you can manage to mirror. I want you to mirror, because that makes that person think, oh, well, we really do have a lot in common. That's cool. Yeah, we're really similar. This person agrees with me. This person agrees with me. Because in the narcissist's mind, you agreeing with them puts them in charge, because they think that they've got you reeled in, and they think they've got you doing what they want. Do you see what I mean? Like if you're agreeing with something, now they think that they're in charge and they can boss you around and they can make decisions, and you're just going to go along with it. For the time being, you're going to act that you are. You're going to act like you are, and you're going to pretend that they're in charge, when really the whole time you're manipulating the whole situation, because you're making it to where in the end there's not going to be anything to work with. There's not going to be arguments that he can look back on and be like, remember when you said blah blah blah, and whatever, and use it against you, because y'all didn't argue. If you agreed with him, the only thing that's hard about this is that you have to really, really and truly set aside your emotions. That can be done. You just have to practice at it, and you just have to practice the mindset. If you need to find a meditation to listen to, or something like that, or some kind of affirmation or something to listen to help you get your mind right, so that you can unplug emotionally from the situation and not get pissed off about everything that goes on, or especially like having to do something you don't want to do. Because think of it this way: let's say you've got a goal of, let's say y'all have to go to court and do custody battle, and the narcissist doesn't know that y'all are going to be splitting, but you know you're going to be splitting. You've got to build up a case that makes it look like you're the agreeable parent, you're the cooperative parent, You're the one who just wants to do things right. You're the one who doesn't want any problems. You're the one who just wants peace. You're the peaceful parent. You're the one who's just trying to do things the right way, what have you. And you're going to be agreeable, and you're going to, do what needs to be done, and go along with shit and just play along with it. Because remember, even though can be difficult sometimes, I know it is because I've had to do it. Even though this can be difficult at times, you're going to have to remember your end goal, which is to get what the hell you want at the end of this. And also to not have as much friction as you would with somebody who you've been arguing with the whole 9 or 10 months or whatever, up until you actually getting a chance to leave. So, and plus, if the narcissist trusts you more and thinks that you're on his side or whatever, or that you're going to do what he says and do what he wants, you may get more money out of him this way. You may get more help out of him this way, for something, if you need something. If you're agreeable and you can get yourself to take out your emotions, remove your emotions from the situation, and just play along, you can get more out of them. Men in general, that's how that works. That's kind of how that works for the most part. If you have to, I hate to put it this way, but if you have to be fake and just kind of do something to get what you need from them, and after 6,000 years of having the boot on our throats, I don't feel bad about something like that. If that's something you need to do it. But especially if it's for your survival or your safety. But if you need to come up with ways to manipulate the situation and make it look a certain way so that you can get a certain thing that you really desperately need, I don't see why not. And especially living with a narcissist, and you're having to slowly, quietly, behind the scenes, in secret, build your plan and build your escape to get out of there, then you may as well do whatever it takes, because your safety is at stake. Especially and people don't talk about this, but women who leave abusive or violent boyfriends, especially, or even boyfriends who weren't violent when they were together, but a lot of times when the woman leaves, it's after she's left and gotten out and they've done the official breakup that she gets killed. So I don't want that to happen. I'm not saying that's going to happen to you, but what I'm saying is they act up even more. A lot of them can act up even more after you have left. So to avoid shit like that and to kind of, try to keep that from happening, if you can be agreeable and not give them as much to work with, when it comes time to really split, that can help you. It can help you to just play along with that shit and just emotionally be uninvolved. And it's really difficult to do that, but that's why I say practice with small stuff, like agreeing, or letting him make the decision about where you're going to go eat or what you're going to do on the weekend, or letting him make the decision about what you're going to wear, or something goofy like that. You know what I mean? Like, it's dumb, but that's a good way to get your brain in the zone to start doing things, to learn how to manipulate so that you can get out of there more smoothly. And especially if there's a situation coming up between y'all that could backfire against you later if you don't play along. Like, he's gonna buy a car, and he's gonna buy you a car, and he's considering putting it in your name. If y'all split and he has put the car in your name, as far as I know, I mean, call the courthouse and find out for sure, or the DMV, but as far as I know, if the damn vehicle is in your name, there's not shit he can do about it. So if let's say he's got money and he's considering, getting you a vehicle, you're gonna do whatever it is you have to fucking do to stroke his ego and whatever else in order to get him to go along with that and to be willing to get you that damn car and put it in your damn name, so that when you get out of there, you'll have the vehicle in your name and there's not shit anybody can do about it because it's already been done. The paperwork's been signed. As far as I know, the damn thing belongs to you. There could be exceptions. I don't know. You'll have to call your local courthouse and find out. I don't know. But I'm just saying, it's worth that. Something like that would be worth a try. And if you're friendly, and if you're compliant, and if you're doing as you're told, shit like that, you know what he likes. You know what I mean? You've been with him long enough to know what he likes and what he's into, and what will make it easier for both of y'all. If you can do that, if you can just get yourself to do that for a little while you're there, and get things and just collect shit. Collect money, collect stuff, collect praises from him, or get the idea going that you're going to do whatever he wants. Document that as much as you can, especially in text messages. If he says something, you just say, okay baby, or whatever, you know what I mean? Tell him what he wants to hear, and just have it go smoothly as possible. And that way, when it comes down to it and you really do have to go ahead and like officially declare war and go to court or start packing your stuff and getting out of there, the explosion won't be as bad. And you'll feel more in control of the situation, because you will be in more control of the situation, because you'll know how to twist it to get it to go in your favor. And or you're going to be on top. You're going to come out on top anyway, because you're going to be the victor, because you're getting away from somebody who's trash anyway. But you won't have anything to be afraid of if you know how his mind works and how to say things to get him to calm down, or say things to get him to think that you're trying to please him, however that works. Once it comes time for you to split and actually get out of there and physically live in separate places, I'll have to leave that part up to you, because I can only help my clients one-on-one with that. If you're watching this video, I just want you to take whatever you can from it and implement it however you want. If you want to get close with me and get into a membership, or get into one-on-one with me, we can do that. And if you're in a situation where you're feeling stuck, we will sort it out. We'll sort it out, and we can get you going to where you can get yourself out of there. So, I've always got spaces open for that. But anyway, it's difficult to get your mind in the place where you drop all of your values and all of your ideas about yourself and who you are. Because the narcissist fools with your identity so much that you have to twist who you are. Once you realize what's happened, you have to twist who you are in order to make the situation start working for you again, just so you can get out of there. Because it's a lot easier to do it that way than it is to just like have some big explosive argument, which I've also done, and try to get rid of them that way. And it also depends on how ballsy they are, because one of them I got away from. We had the big explosion, and he stalked me online, stalked me in public, and then finally, and stalked me through people who I thought were my friends. And finally, I told one of my friends, someone who I thought was my friend, that I was going to the courthouse to get whatever I could. A no contact order, a restraining order, or whatever I could. If you cannot get a restraining order, that is not the only thing that's out there. You can get a no contact order. It's not as bad as a restraining order, but it'll get you something. It'll be just the same, for the most part. It means that he cannot contact you. So, and I think a restraining order is different. A restraining order is like physical, like they can't come within 100 yards of your house or something like that. So, but if all you can get is a no contact order, that'll do. And if you can get that and then he screws up more, then you can start adding on to it and get a real restraining order. But you got to call your courthouse and find out for sure. But I have done those things. I know how that feels. I know how it is to have to go do that. It can be done. Sometimes you just have to start small, but like I say, if you can drop your ideas about yourself and your identity and how you're a good person, and you have a hard time manipulating people, you have a hard time lying to people, and you have a hard time treating people bad, stuff like that, while you're dealing with this son of a bitch, you're going to have to forget about all that, because you got to turn yourself inside out and start doing things a different way in order to make sure you come out on top. Because so far you've been on the bottom. So far this person has had you on the bottom. And the only way, and they have made it to where they have painted you into a corner, they have forced you into a corner to where the only way you can get yourself out of it is to turn their game on them and put them on the bottom. And you're going to be selfish for once. Do you see what I mean? So you're just going to have to do it. And you're going to learn how to employ some of the dark feminine in order to do it. And you're going to have to manipulate, and that's just a part of it. But it'll get you out of there, and it'll get you to the other side, and it'll get you your freedom. And once you're out there and you can breathe again and you can be safe again and have your freedom again, you will also have a few tools under your belt that will help you survive in other situations throughout your life. Hopefully you won't get stuck with another narcissist. But You know, the manipulation tools, you never know when you may need that for survival. It's not evil. There's nothing evil about that. Sometimes you just have to do shit in order to get things done so you can live. So you keep that in mind. This isn't you hurting people and leaving chaos in your wake and shit like that. You're not doing that to anybody. You're preserving yourself. Because with the narcissist, you're going to have to choose your life or theirs. Whose are you going to protect? You know what I mean? It's you or them. They make it that way. They make it to where you have to choose that. To where you have to make that choice. So, once you learn how to do that kind of stuff and you learn how to play the game, I will say that one person who is really good at teaching that is Shara7 on YouTube. And it's 2 words. S-H-E-R-A, Shara. Second word, 7, spelled out. Okay, Shara7. I like some of what she says. I don't like all of it. She does say that men don't love you and can't love you, and that you're not going to find true love and you need to just marry for the lifestyle and nothing else. I don't necessarily agree with that. I think that's hurtful. There are men who will love you. They exist. They just do. I've seen them. I've had them. They exist. You know, that's not a Disney fantasy thing. They're real. So I think that Shara might be operating from some kind of a defense mode that she may have learned in childhood or something. Other stuff she says is great, but one thing that she does go over is how to not get emotionally involved if you need to get something done. And that part I have to kind of agree with, because sometimes, you know, for women, you just have to do it. Just have to do it. You know, and you know, it won't be every day you have to do that kind of thing, but sometimes it just calls for that. If you're in a situation where you need money, you need to borrow a car, you need to do something, whatever, and you just have to put emotions aside and just make it business. Just make it all business. Sometimes, yeah. So I'm not necessarily against that part of it. Some other stuff she says I'm not sure about, but it's only because of my own experiences, because I have had men who loved me, and I've got them now. And so when she says that that's not real and that she just married for the lifestyle and all she cares about is money, you know, I like her, but I don't agree with that, and I don't think that's helpful, especially for these young girls, because I feel like it kind of teaches them that they need to just make sure they get money from men instead of getting their own money. I'd rather these young women, these 20-year-old girls, I'd rather them work on how to get their own money for themselves and not be getting it from men, because a man can walk away and quit talking to you and quit paying your phone bill at any time. Now then what? You know, and you're so used to getting it from them and not working, you know, because I'm not going to work, blah, blah, blah. And now you don't have your own income coming in to where you can do shit on your own without a man being there or not. It just doesn't make any sense. So that's the only reservation I have about her. But her other stuff about how to unplug emotionally and look at it as all business so that you can just survive it, that part, you know, yeah. Because sometimes you just have to do it. And women, of course, are taught not to do that because that's selfish and that's mean and that's whatever. And it doesn't matter, because there's a lot of shit we've been taught that is there to convince us to not do it. You know, oh, well, don't do that, that's mean. No, don't do that, that's selfish, that's selfish. You don't want to be selfish, do you? You know, and we're taught that being selfish is like, you know, one of the greatest cardinal sins. And I don't remember what they are because it's been too long since I was in Catholic school, so don't ask me. I remember gluttony. I don't remember all the rest of it. And I'm a glutton, so that's probably why I remember that one. And no, I don't care. So, right before this, about an hour ago, well, a couple hours ago, I had a palak paneer and a veggie burger. And I didn't have it as a whole sandwich. I just had the patty itself, and I cut it up, and I was eating some of that, and I had some palak paneer, and then I was eating some veggie burger, and it was seasoned and everything. I don't care. I'm a glutton. I don't give a shit. I now have a chocolate milk protein drink in this, and look, and I just don't care. See, so yeah, I like to eat. I don't give a shit. I don't care if it's selfish. Everyone else in the house is eating too, so I buy all the groceries here. I don't feel bad. So, but anyway, you know, women are taught that being selfish is like one of the worst things you could possibly do. not taking care of your children is the worst thing you could do as a woman, or not taking care of yourself, but not being selfish. No, that doesn't have anything to do with anything. That doesn't even matter. You have to define what selfish is and apply it, and it would be different in every situation. So there's no blanket definition or blanket application for being selfish. It doesn't make any sense. That's just used to control us so that we'll do what people want and it benefits someone else. And that's it. That's why you're taught that. It's because it helps somebody else. So that's why I say all those preconceived notions about yourself, accurate or otherwise, you have to just drop them when you're dealing with a narcissist, because you have to turn their game on them without them knowing it. And even though that's hard to do, once you come out the other side, like I say, if you have to go to court, the judge is going to see, especially in screenshots from text messages or whatever. If you can prove that, prove it. The more you can text with your narcissist, the better, because you can screenshot that shit and save it forever. Another tip for that is save your screenshots, but also send them to someone you trust. Email them to a friend of yours or a relative or somebody you can trust to hang on to the screenshots, just in case he ever goes through your phone and wipes it clean. Just in case. Because you never know what can happen. And if he does that, you can also tell the judge that. Every single thing that happens, document that shit. And get somebody else in on it who can be trusted and who knows what's going on and who can hang on to your information for you in case something dumb happens and you lose it all. And yes, I have done that for people. I have absolutely done that. And I mean, pictures of bruises and all kinds of stuff. Legal documents, I've held on to copies of all that shit for people who no one else knows about. So, it's wise to do that because it does help. But, like I say, once you see, when you're having a hard time doing the emotional unplugging and you've got to do something you don't want to do, I'll let your imagination do the work. It's something he is demanding that you don't want to do. Anything, name it. And you're having a hard time talking yourself into doing it because you just don't want to. I want you to think about how you're going to be thanking yourself later in a few months' time, or however long. I want you to think about how you're going to be thanking yourself later for the sacrifices you made in that moment. Sometimes it's hard to do because it's hard to focus on the future when you're pissed off about the moment, and I know that. But it's time to start training your brain to do something different and to see things in a different way and to think outside the box and to think about the future and your future self and get in tune and get aligned with your future self and what she's going to be needing from you. If you want the outcome and the results and the victory that you want, sometimes you've got to do the work for it and just buck up and do it. Sometimes you just have to. And that includes, doing shit you don't want to do. There's days when I'm tired, and there's days when I just need a break, and I still do my work anyway. I still do it anyway because I know that in the end, I'm benefiting from it, and of course my clients are benefiting from it. And at the end of the day, I can say, you know what, I was tired today, but I did it anyway, and it turned out to be a good day, and a lot of progress was made for everybody involved, and everybody did good today, including me, and that's okay, and it paid off for me to just tighten up and say, I'm just going to do it anyway. We're just going to make this day good, and I do it anyway. And some days I feel that way. Some days I'm just tired, and I push through it, and afterwards I reward myself like hell, because I didn't have the strength to do what I was doing, but I did the work anyway, and then I just spoil myself afterwards with however I want to do that. So to reward yourself after doing something like that is important, but you can do that as well. Actually, if you're having to do something you don't want to do, go along with it, bite your tongue, go along with it, keep things smooth, and then afterwards suggest something, like something you want, like ice cream, going out for ice cream, or buying you something you've been wanting, or giving you some money for something, or whatever. And if you want, make it sound like it's something that'll benefit him. You may not have to do that every time, but if he's the type that needs that, then you can figure out a way to do that. But reward yourself when you've had to do something you didn't want to do, and let it balance out that way. And I want you to keep in mind, even though you're going to have days where that's really difficult to do and really difficult to talk yourself into just doing whatever he says, I want you to keep in mind that your situation that you're in right now is temporary with this fool. It's temporary. You're not going to be stuck with him forever. That's not the idea. You're just going to do this shit until you can get out the door. Once you're not living under the same roof as him, it'll be worlds better, and it'll be worlds easier. You can have your own alarm system, you can have your own dog, you can have a gun, you can do whatever you want in your own apartment, your own home, wherever you're going to be, and you'll be under his roof, and you'll be safer, because you can have all your own security mechanisms and whatever you want. And if you can just focus on the fact, the cold hard fact that your situation with this clown is temporary, and that it will go away, and it will end, and this chapter of your life will end, and you will start a new chapter and a new part of your life, a new version of your life, a new version of you, a fresh version of you, a more empowered version of you is on the way. If you can just remind yourself of that, you'll be able to get through it better, because you're going to tell yourself, you know what, this is just temporary, I'm just doing this for right now, this isn't going to be forever, it's all right. And you do that while you're planning your escape from this son of a bitch. So, and I've had clients call me in tears talking about, I can't do this, I can't do this. I'm like, no, yeah, you can. Yeah, you can. Look how far you've already come, first of all. Look how far you've already come, okay? Look at all the things you've learned so far. Look at all the things we've gone over so far. Let's review our techniques for the somatic healing so you can get some of the stress out of your body, okay? Let's go over our breathing exercises. Let's go over our mental exercises. Let's go over whatever affirmations you want to go over. Let's go over our mental techniques to focus on what we're working towards and how good it's going to feel when you're out of there and you're in your own place and you've got your little dog with you and you've got your children with you and whatever. Even if you get there and you don't have any of your possessions, whatever, it does, you'll be out. You'll be out. The goal is to get out, right? And you need to focus on that feeling and how good that's going to feel when you reach that goal. And if you can't focus on that feeling, I want you to start breathing until you calm the fuck down. And then I want you to start breathing in the image. Just start inhaling the image of you in your victory state at the end of it, after you've won and after you've gotten out and after you've reached your goal and everything is good. And I want you to breathe it in, that image, and breathe it into your fibers, and let all your fibers in your body soak up the image, the vision of you sitting alone in your apartment or with your children or whatever, in your new apartment or your new house or whatever it is, or your friend's place if that's where you're going to be staying for a few weeks, wherever you're going to be that you would consider your safe space. And if you go to a women's center like a women's shelter, that's fine too. You'll be safe there. It's okay. Wherever you have to go. It doesn't have to be some 5-bedroom house. If you don't end up there, fine. You may one day anyway. But the number one victory is to get out of there. If you can look at that inside your mind and soak it into your body and into your fibers and remind your body of where y'all are going and what your goal is and where you're going to be ending up, and that's going to be a fact, and that's going to be the plausible truth, and that's going to be the end goal, and that's going to be it. That's going to be your reality. You're going to make that shit happen. You're going to will it to happen no matter what. That's what it's going to be, and it's not going to be anything else. There's no wiggle room for anything else. It's just going to be that, and you're demanding it from life and from the universe and from yourself and your spirit guides and your God and whoever else is involved for you, okay? You're demanding it. You're stating it. It's going to be this. And you mentally take control of your situation, and that way, once you do that, once you can plug into that, and it takes practice, but once you can plug into that, you won't worry so much about being pissed off about having to do stuff you don't want to do up until then, because you already know how good the outcome is going to be, and you're just thinking about that. You just think about your goal. So when you do that, every time you have to do something that you don't want to do, remind yourself that you are adding to your not portfolio, but like you're adding to your case, you're adding to your file of things that are helping you move towards that goal. Every time you have to do something, and you really have to switch your thinking for this, but it can be done, but you've got to practice it. You just have to practice it. And like I said, it's why you can practice with little stuff, like doing little things you don't want to do. Like if he wants to go eat sushi and you don't like sushi, just go eat the sushi. I did that. I've had to do that. I don't know why men bug me about sushi. They used to do that so bad. Well, the one now doesn't bug me for anything, but especially not fucking sushi. I can't stand. I don't know what the big deal is. I don't know what the big deal is. Like, I don't want cold meat. I don't want cold seafood. I prefer it cooked. I'm a vegetarian now, so it's like it doesn't matter either way. But men are real weird about insisting that you try a certain type of food and that's going to change your life. Like I don't already cook for myself. So I've been coerced and I've been just about forced to sit down to sushi more than once. And I've never liked it any goddamn time I've had to eat it. I've never liked it. But I at that time I was gaining a skill that was helping me to manipulate the situation so that I could get shit that I wanted later on and shit that I needed later on, and it worked. So I was compliant, I was agreeable, I was, whatever they wanted me to be so that I could just get that shit done and seem like I wasn't a problem child so that I could get what I needed later, and it worked. I had those guys funding my business, my jewelry business at the time, that I had for years. Well, I still have. It's just not my main gig anymore, obviously, but I still do it. While I'm thinking about it, if you're in the Facebook group, you get 50% off all the jewelry in my Etsy shop. So if you want the link for the 50% off, just let me know. Just comment or whatever, and I'll give you the link because it's a coupon, and you can use that. And if you have any problems with that, just let me know, and I'll hook you up. So, but anyway, I had to learn. Of course, I don't need the skills now, because I'm not with those types of partners anymore. I'm not with those kinds of men anymore. But at the time, the survival skills that I acquired while going along with shit, as dumb as it was, helped me, and it got me out of there, and I was able to have things work in my favor. If you can be agreeable and be compliant with him, you'll get more out of him. You can get him to pay for your shit. You can get him to fund things. You can get him to take you places so you can meet people. Let's say he's got an important job with the city or something like that, and he's going to go to some party and there might be politicians there or something like that. You never know who you might meet that could help you in some way or get you around prestigious people or something like that to really advance you socially. You never know. You never know. Go along with it. Wear the stupid ass dress he wants you to wear as long as it's appropriate for the event, right? Do what he wants you to do. Wear the lingerie he likes or whatever, just to shut him up. Just to shut him up. And get there, do the damn thing, and then make the damn event work for you. Get to know all his fucking friends. Get to know all the people in high places that he knows. Act like you're meant to be there. Make that shit work for you. Manipulate that shit. Do it. And before you know it, you'll be you'll have you'll have all the same friends he does, and you'll know all the important people he knows. And so once y'all split, you can still be in touch with the people he knows and get networking and get who knows what, get a good job, anything. In fact, you could do that even before y'all split. If you know you're gonna need a job. Get a job with somebody that he knows. Oh yeah, whatever. You know what I'm saying? So like, there's a million ways for you to win if you just make shit work for you. And all you gotta do is comply with him with the dumb shit he wants, make him think he's in control, and twist it to make it work in your favor. It can be done. I have done it. I've had clients who did it. I taught them how to do it. Like, it can happen. You just have to believe that you can do it. You have to believe that you are smart enough and that you are able to learn these skills. You don't have to be born with the conniver gene. Okay, it doesn't work that way. You learn how to do it. You have to learn how to do it. But some people don't have to learn how to do it. Some people are born that way, and I think that might be, that there's a gray area between gift and mental issue, but you know, some people are born with it. But if you're having to learn how to do that and have to learn how to be selfish, quote unquote, and how to be conniving and manipulative, look, it's you can do it. It can be done, and that's what I want for you. So I hope that this video helps. I hope this gave you some ideas that you can, you know, build on. And if you need any help, if you need a nudge in the right direction, if you need a push, if you just need a little bit of foundation to work with, you know, get in touch with me. I'd love to help you out. And that's it. So thanks a lot for sticking with me and watching this. And I hope it helped. Thanks.